Hi, I'm Brennan, and I'm a engineering major with concentrations in mechanical and sustainable design, and also a minor in architecture.
My name is Brynne Kirsch. I'm a mechanical engineer, sustainable design engineer, and a minor in architecture. So this semester, Brian and I were given the task of making 5 examples of rooms that are going to be in Nicarry. They're going to be remodeled this summer, and so we were supposed to make a video to show incoming freshmen.
I'm sure most of you are familiar with Nicarry, but for those who aren't, this is Nicarry.
And in this bottom corner here is the version that we've made.
The purpose of the remodeled classrooms is for the education department. They're our primary client, and they want to move towards a more active type of learning and teaching. They want to really step away from the lecture style. So as you can see, this is a current classroom in Nicarry, and sort of the tiered classroom setup really promotes the lecture style. So the purpose of remodeling these classrooms and giving it a whole new design is to really make students able to be active with one another and interact with the teacher, and they find that really beneficial towards their type of learning.
This is our floor plan that we made in Revit to give you an idea of the classrooms that we're working with. Down here is where the ITS is, and the top right corner is where the 2 computers are.
This is our video walkthrough that we made using Lumion and Revit, and this shows what current Nicarry building is like, but with the remodeled classrooms inside.
Okay, so some highlights of the furniture and everything you just saw about these new classrooms. First of all of this furniture is on wheels, and that allows everyone in the education department to be able to move everything out of the way and be able to set the classroom up really however they'd like. Another thing is the chairs. There's different type of chairs. One of them had a bucket at the bottom that allows for them to put their book bag or whatever else to free up some space, and then the other ones are height adjustable to make everybody comfortable. There's whiteboards all around all of the rooms for convenience, and these classrooms will also be open at night for studying our projects.
Here are some pictures of the examples of samples of the furniture that's already in place in one room in Nicarry. These chairs are actually picked out by the students. They were given different chairs, and there was a notepad on each chair, and students were asked to write their opinions. So these are actually picked out by the education students. And you can see that there are 3 different color chairs. This is to create a more comfortable and inviting feel for an education classroom.
These are some of the chairs. First thing you might notice about the chairs is they have like a chevron shape. This is so that everyone feels that they have their own personal space. They also have whiteboards hanging down here from the sides so that each individual person can have their own whiteboard, and there's a slot that you can set it up to divide the space. In the middle of each table they also have extra markers and erasers for each person.
Here are more highlights of the classrooms. As you can see, there's a multi-directional microphone and projector. This will offer for more ease of use in Skype meetings or WebEx, or anytime you need to use internet video communications with someone else. There's also sort of huddle spaces in the classroom. This is so if students if they're divided up into group work and they want to sort of step away from the tables and go somewhere else where they can really huddle around a single space, it provides a comfortable place for them to do that.
We've also made some shorter clips that are going to be available with this on our education website. They're going to put them. Okay, so this is one of the classrooms. This is going to be one of the bigger ones. It has the different types of chairs we were talking about and whiteboards surrounding the room. There's also small huddle spaces like Brian was talking about in the background of the classroom.
As you can see, people are using active learning already, even in the model.
We have a classroom like this, very similar in the engineering department. There are TVs flushed into the walls at each table. These tables are also going to be detachable. As you can see when we turn around here, there is an example of one right here so that they can make smaller groups. Each of the students are able to plug their laptop in and then it will come up on the monitor. The professor also has the option to share their screen on all of these monitors as well.
The next classroom is sort of labeled as the Innovative Technology Room. This room will have sort of robots and that are programmable for students who need to teach STEM areas. And it'll also have a 3D printer. We have 3D printers here in the engineering program, but not everyone even knows about them or has access to them. So a smaller 3D printer in this room will allow everyone access so they're familiar with that technology if they need to teach it or when they step into their field, if it's useful for them.
This is the science classroom. They're going to be focusing on STEM mainly in this classroom. There are sinks in the back which allow them to work on any kind of projects or anything like that. There's also whiteboards surrounding the room again for any sort of projects they may need to be working on.
Okay. This next classroom is labeled as the literacy room. This is where students who are teaching English or reading subjects, they'll have lots of books and a library available in the back of the room. And there's also talk about in the future putting up a wall or a divider to like in front of the bookshelves and having a separate door so that students can access it from outside the classroom without disrupting class.
The next classroom is not one that we were assigned, but it's going to be one that will be highlighted in Nicarry. It's the video conferencing room. We have a few students here at Elizabethtown that are involved in a joint program with Drexel, so they'll mainly be using this room, but it'll also be open to other people. This room will allow for like Skype or WebEx sessions. I know that they also are thinking about using it for potential professors for interviews and stuff. So this will be open to everyone on campus as long as the time allows.
Yes, that concludes the first half of our project. We'd like to give a special thanks to Ron Heasley, who really guided us through this and was a project advisor for this. Next, under the guidance of Dr. Wunderlich and Dr. Ricci, we took our models for Nicarry and we sort of did a green sustainable analysis. We did this to determine, this isn't exactly a proposal, but we wanted to determine sort of how green we could make the building based on LEED standards in the US GVC. So we looked at the different rankings we thought we would be able to achieve by, and what we needed to change in order to get those.
Okay, so first is the passive solar heating. We proposed the idea of adding more north-facing windows so that the building will receive the most light when the students are in school, which will help them learn. We also talked about adding some south-facing windows for shade so that it wouldn't get too hot. We also talked about the idea of blackout shades if need be, because in the summer it can get pretty hot, so we thought that might help out a little bit. It'll save a lot of money and provide natural lighting.
As you can see with the passive heating, the comfort zone for the human comfort zone is between 68 and 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And with this, the indoor temperature really won't exceed those temperatures, except maybe in a few points. This will really lead for less of a need to have the AC or heating on, so that in turn saves a lot of power and money.
Alright, passive cooling. We talked about adding possibly some trees near the windows, because when the leaves are on the trees, that'll block the sun when it's the most hot outside. And then in the winter months, when it's the coldest, when the leaves fall off the tree, the sun will then allow to go straight into the building.
The next thing we wanted to implement on our redesign of Nicarry is a green roof. This allows for water filtration, as opposed to, they would have a gutter system, and instead of all the water flowing through the gutters, this way we would be able to filter it and trap and contain some of it, and we use this gray water for, as we'll see later, we show uses for gray water. Also, the plants on the roof, oxygen, that's obviously very healthy. And we also thought there would be maybe a potential to have plants up there where we could grow fruits and vegetables for the marketplace to use.
As Brian was talking about the gray water caught by the green roof, we were talking about we could use that in the toilets, because there's really no use in having clean drinking water in the toilets. We could add dual flushing toilets to save water. And we also talked about adding a fountain just for a gathering space, and it's aesthetically appealing.
Lighting, with passive lighting, there would be less of a need for actual electric lights to be on in the building, but there are regulations with buildings, and there needs to be a certain number of emergency lights in rooms, depending on the size, and also at night there will be a need for lights. So we chose to implement LED lights for this. LED lights are the most energy efficient, so that was a clear choice. And we'd also have maybe street lights outside of Nicarry implement LED lights instead of CFLs or other light bulbs. This is an example of what sections of the LEED check sheet look like. As you can see, sometimes it left an option for if you were unsure. So red is for the pre-existing building, and blue is what we tried to design for. So we obviously tried to meet as many of these needs as possible. But as you can see with this last example, there are some I guess categories where you need to have implemented in the building, such as a tobacco smoke control. So you won't even be able to meet any LEED regulations if you don't incorporate that. This
is an example of the building after we made the modifications.
As you can see, there's large windows on the sides to allow for that passive lighting, as we said. There's also, we try to create that, what we envision, that sort of fountain space to use that gray water outside, which would really just kind of draw people outside or whoever, create a nice space for everyone. We also have recycling bins by the door too, which is something that isn't there now. There's only trash cans.
As we get closer to the top of the building, you'll be able to see what we envision as the green roof. Okay, so before we made any modifications to Nicarry, we went through the lead analysis, and the current Nicarry received 15 points, and I believe you need like 35-ish to qualify at all. After our modifications, we granted Nicarry with 56 points, which is the silver level of certification for LEED.
This is only the second tier of those because it goes bronze, silver, gold, and then platinum. But the standards for a platinum building are very high. Basically, it has to use zero energy and be a self-sustaining building. If there's any questions, now would be the time to ask those.